Hello guys, today we are going to discuss about server side controller. Okay, so this is the component, lightning component. This is a client side controller, that is JavaScript, and this is server side controller, that is Apex class. See, directly this component cannot interact with the Apex class. Okay, so usually if anything is needed for the component, okay, from the component, if any actions or any events are occur, on click, on blur, on focus, something like these are all system events. If any event occur on the component, it calls the server side controller. I'm sorry, it calls the client side controller, which is nothing but JavaScript. Most of the time, it will return back. Okay, if any extra information is needed for this client side controller, then it will interact with the server side controller, that is Apex class. Every call that is going from client side controller to server side controller is asynchronous call. Means collect all the calls. These calls are nothing but requests. Okay, collect all the calls, that is requests, from the user by client side controller. This client side controller will collect all the requests which are given by the users, collect all the requests and place them in or add them in a queue and send at a time to the server side controller, which we call it as asynchronous. But these two is synchronous. Now, can I call every class in the lightning? Can I call every class in the lightning? This class means here. Okay, actually it is not the class, but it is methods, class methods. If you want to invoke the methods or variables in the lightning, then those methods and variables must be defined with ARA enabled annotate. That means defined with @ARA enabled. Maybe in interview they make question like, is it class or member variables? Member variables means methods and variable annotated with @ARA enabled only member variables. That means this ARA enabled given only to the methods and variables, but not to the classes. How many methods we can create? N number of methods we can create with @ARA enabled annotation. But a class have only one invoke method. @invoke method is called with REST API. Invocable method is for process builder and all, right? For an Apex class to be connected with Lightning, we have some basic important points. For an Apex class to be connected to the Lightning, so these are the points that we need to remember. First one, use @ARA enabled annotation. Second one, method must be static. Third one, methods are recommended to be non-void. Fourth one, methods must be public or global. Fifth one, both client side and server side should be unique name. Let us go to the developer console and take a small simple example. File, new, light Apex class underscore 1008 underscore server 1 public static string. I can write example. Method name is example. The method must be ARA enabled. Let's create one string, strng string st is equal to I am invoked from Apex class. This method is expecting return of string type, return st. That's it. Save, fine. Now let me create a lightning component. New lightning component underscore 10 underscore 08 underscore server underscore 1. close the description. Controller, whenever you want to make use of any class, you must write that class name in the controller. Control C, Control V. Yeah. Let's create an attribute AU or a ARA. Let's create one attribute, ARA attribute name is equal to some give any name. Hi of type string. Let me create one button. Label is equal to get server side controller. This is the label. On click c dot. You can give any name. Server. You can write server. Variant brand. After clicking, that means whenever the user clicks this button, get server side controller. On click of this button, server is a method which calls the controller and displays the result. So for displaying the result, we use something like v dot. The attribute name is hi. Save. That's it. Now I am going for controller. Server. Yeah, server is the method name, right? Now variable. First, step 1. Step 1 is get the values of attribute from the component. So it is optional for us case. In the next phase of classes, we can see that one. Next, step 2. Get the server side controller method, which is nothing but apex class, where action is equal to component dot get of c dot. What is the method name that we have given here? Example. That's it. Next, step 3. Set the parameters or assign the parameters. Otherwise, assign the parameters to the server side controller. Action dot set params in the form of JSON format. Actually, it is also optional. This is optional. Now let me go to the step 3. Optional means for our case optional, because this method is not expecting anything. If this method is expecting, we have to pass the parameters here. Okay, right. Step 4. Set callback for getting data. For data, action dot set callback. This function. After that, we have to pass response. You can write anything here. Most of the times in the real time we use response. And open and close the curly braces. For understanding purpose, I'm moving this one to here. Where state is equal to declare a variable state equal to response dot get state. Response dot get state is a method. Response is the parameter that we are passing into this function. Where we are declared a variable state. Get state is the method. So response is the variable that we pass into this one. Response, in real time we use response. We can use anything here. Okay. So response dot get state will give you the state of this callback. Okay. So next, if state equal to success, if state equal to success, then where result is equal to response dot get return value, and we are assigning this result into the into our attribute. This is the attribute. Okay, high is the attribute, that is component dot set of v dot high comma res. Next one, step 5. There are total 5 steps. Enqueue the action. $a dot enqueue action. My action is action. This is the one that I'm talking about. Okay, that's it. Now let me go and create the application, lightning application. Copy this one, lightning application LA. Close the description. C colon control V. Force colon SLDS. Preview. Get server side controller. It is a button. If I click this, I am invoked from Apex class. That's it. So what happened, so I have written something here. I clicked some button here. It calls the client side controller, and after that, this client side controller invoked the server side controller and get the result. Thank you.